I'm on a 4-trade win streak right now. Now, this is nothing crazy or spectacular. There may well be a time where I'm on a 4-trade losing streak, but a lot of you lately have been asking for my approach with a bit more specifics of why I enter, and I'm going to show you here. I called all these trades in my Telegram for absolutely free, so quite a few of you followed along and got some winners out of it, which is great. I've also opened the chat, and a lot of people have been following me and having a good month so far. Okay, so let's look at the journal, and then we're going to have a look at each trade. Okay, so here's my journal as of Monday, the 30th of October. So we're going to have a look at each trade, and I'm just going to explain to you why I did what I did. Okay, the first one was AUD New Zealand dollar. We can see it was against the daily and H4 trend, and my reason was that it was just bouncing off a daily zone. It was started to reject, and it also failed to make a higher high on H4. So let's have a look what I mean. Okay, so here's the daily chart. You can see it started to reject. The H4 chart, you can see it did not make a higher high here. So to me, that started to say, well, is that the start of a downtrend as well as the bounce off a daily zone? So you've got one confluence, which is that as it come up to a strong daily zone, it's rejected. That's one. The second is it's tried to make a higher high or the same high and it failed. And what ended up happening was it actually turned into a loss. So this time I was wrong. Although I was happy with the reasons that I took the trade, it ended up being a loss. And then here we've got the 1 week later screenshot, which I'm going to show you. And I actually, if I had a tiny bit bigger stop loss, I would have won quite comfortably. So I did get the bounce right. Although here you can see it made a higher high. So at the same time, because it made a higher high, I'm quite happy to exit there because it looks like up to that point the trend is continuing to go up. Okay, the next trade, EURCAD. So we can see that it was with the daily and H4 trend. BNR for me, that just means break and retest. And I said it was not the super clearest or strongest zone, but it has rejected. So I was happy enough to take the trade. Let's look at the daily zone. So here you can see on the daily, it's not really a daily zone at all, to be honest. It's just broken and it's come back and wicked it. On H4 is more where I had my analysis. You can see this is a bit more of a clearer zone. Again, like I said, it's not super clear, but I'm happy with this strong uptrend and I'm happy it started to reject and the move has started to play out. That's one of the things I look for, is that the move I want to see happen has already begun. I get a slightly worse entry, but for me, I find that increases my win rate a lot. And now we'll look at the exit screenshot, and here we can see it smashed through and it was quite an easy winner. I'll also show you the 1 week later screenshot for this, and it looks like it went all the way up to the next zone, even broke. I noted here I changed it to a 5, which basically means if I kept dragging my take profit, I had potential for a 5 risk to reward. So I would have won 5 times of what I risked. Okay, the next trade was GU, which a lot of you took, I believe, in Telegram, which was great. So we can see it actually wasn't with the daily or H4 trend. And the reason for taking was that it bounced off a daily zone along with the JP Morgan forecast. So JP Morgan, if you don't know, they're a big bank, and they've put out some forecasts halfway through the year of where they believe price to go on certain Forex pairs, mainly the majors, over the next 6 to 12 months. So here on the daily, you can see it's rejecting and bouncing off the zone. Now, when I take a bounce off a zone, for me, it needs to be a daily zone. I don't really like doing it off H4. It seems to not be as strong. Okay, because here you can argue really it's against the trends. The trend is popped up, it's made a new higher high, but it has started to reject. Okay, now on the H4 chart, you can see the same thing, but it's just zoomed in. There's nothing more to it, really. That was mainly based off the daily. And then here's my exit screenshot. So I got in there and it just went straight down, really. Started to go sideways a bit, but overall just down. And it was a great executed trade. So well done if you followed that along. Right, 2 more we're going to go through. So AUDCAD, it was with the daily trend, but obviously not the H4. It was a daily break and retest, also a new high on the H4, showing a change of the mini H4 downtrend, which you're going to see now. So here's the daily chart. Okay, the daily chart. So it's been in a bit of an uptrend and it's just shot back to this zone. And on the daily, it has rejected and it's starting to make more of a bullish candle. Here on the H4 chart, again, you can see it's had 1 mini bounce, come back, failed to make a lower low, and now it's started to make a higher high. So these are things some of you are asking for, like little reasons as to why I enter and stuff. So it would have been more aggressive if I entered right here. As soon as that green candle, that would be more aggressive because it's still technically in a downtrend. But as soon as I've seen this bit where it's failed to make this new low and it's made a new high, as soon as I see that, that's now another indicator that the price is bouncing. And yes, when I do this, the entry for sure is slightly worse. But from my experience, you just have more chance of it playing out and doing what you wish it to do. Okay, and then we can see here on the exit screenshot, it actually went sideways for a bit and then it just went straight up. And if you followed this, because this was only a few days ago when I'm going to release this video, if you know this, that price ended up going higher and higher and breaking new highs as well. So yeah, quite a few of you followed along, which was great. And I hope now you start to understand a bit more like why I took it and if it can help you to make similar decisions on your own. Okay, the last one, AUD New Zealand dollar. So we can see it was with the daily and H4 trend. It was an H4 break and retest. The move had already started. and I just put let's see what happens. So let's look at the daily chart. So here, this wasn't really based off a daily zone. You can see that's not really on this. It doesn't look like a zone at all. It looks like a bit of a downtrend. That's all you've got going. So it's not really based off the daily, other than the trend. Now on the H4 here is where the analysis is more based. The zone is not super clear, obvious. It hasn't had really strong reactions, but it's been respected a few times. So it's been respected here, here. You know, it failed to break the first time, went through there. So you can see. Anyway, you can now see at this point of entering, the price came up, and for about 4 candles, well, 3 candles, it just rejected to go up. It had 2 reds and a green going sideways, and now this red, which was really bearish. And this is when I decided that the move that I want to see happen is starting, so I'm going to enter. Okay, so here's the exit screenshot, and here you can see this trade played out really quick. I woke up in the morning and it was just about to hit TP. There's not much more to it. That's my analysis. Sometimes, a lot of time, you're going to be wrong when this happens, but my bet here was that the trend was going to continue. It failed to make a higher high. It was using a zone as well to reject. So that was enough confluences for me to enter. Okay, so as you can see, the way I trade is actually very simple. I'm sure a lot of you trade similar way. It's based off Nick Shawn. He was my mentor and who I learned from. So it's based off a really simple strategy. And the biggest thing that I can say, and you might have heard it a lot in other videos, is just like experience and doing it time and time again. You build this like sort of photographic memory where you see things and it looks good and you take the setup. I've also seen that although strategy is important, there's so many people that are profitable with completely different strategies. So what we seem to have in common is more patience and taking your best setups, not editing or messing with it, just letting the stats play out, leaving the trade alone. So some of you may trade with a similar approach to me. If you do, then I hope this was very helpful. But even if you don't trade how I do, hopefully there are still some characteristics and approaches you can pinch from this to hopefully help and guide you. If you've got any questions at all or feedback, just drop them in the comments. I'm going to read them all. And if you're not involved with the Telegram group, get in there. I open up a chat once or twice a week now. We have a little chat. We share some trades. You can see all the trades that I'm taking and think of taking. And I hope this video is helpful. Cheers.